Picture yourself on test day. You sit down feeling calm and prepared. You've studied each section, you know what's coming, and you understand what the TOEFL examiners want to see. When your results arrive, you see the scores you worked for. Your goal of studying or working abroad feels closer than ever. That confidence doesn't come from random practice. It comes from understanding how each section of the TOEFL works and using strategies that help you perform at your best. We've helped thousands of students prepare this way through our TOEFL packages. They discover how strategic preparation can help them approach the TOEFL with more confidence and clarity. In this video, you'll learn the key details about the TOEFL iBT test format. You'll discover what each section tests, what every task looks like, and how to improve your score. By the end, you'll know how to prepare for the TOEFL iBT. Before we get into each section, let me give you a quick overview of the test. The TOEFL iBT measures your ability to use English in an academic setting. It tests 4 skills: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. The test takes under 2 hours to complete, and you can take it at a test center or at home. Now, let's go through each section one by one, starting with reading. The reading section tests your ability to understand texts from both academic and everyday contexts. You have up to 30 minutes to complete up to 50 items. There are 3 task types in the reading section: complete the words, read in daily life, and read an academic passage. The first reading task is complete the words. In this task, you see a short paragraph. The first sentence is complete, but after that, the second half of every second word has been removed. Your job is to fill in the missing letters. This task tests your ability to process written English at both the meaning level and the word form level. You need to understand the context of the passage to figure out which word fits. You also need to know how to spell it correctly. The best tip for this task is to read the whole passage first before filling in any answers. This gives you the overall meaning, which helps you figure out the missing words more easily. Also, pay attention to the surrounding words in each sentence. The words before and after a gap frequently give you clear clues about what the missing word should be. The second task is read in daily life. In this task, you read short, non-academic texts that you might encounter in everyday situations. Types of text can include social media posts, news articles, or receipts. Each text is followed by 2 or 3 multiple-choice questions. The questions ask you to understand the main purpose of the text. They also ask you to find specific details, make inferences, and understand informal language, including common expressions. The key tip for this task is to scan the text rather than read every word carefully. The texts are short and practical. You don't need to analyze them deeply. Find the information the question is asking about and move on. Also, keep in mind that these texts often use informal or everyday language. Focus on the overall message and consider what the writer is trying to communicate. The third reading task is read an academic passage. In this task, you read a short academic text. The topic can come from areas like history, science, or social science. Background knowledge is not required. The passage is followed by 5 questions that ask you about the main ideas, details, vocabulary and context, inferences, and the relationship between ideas. This is the most demanding of the 3 reading tasks. The language is more formal and academic, and the questions require a deeper level of comprehension. The most important tip here is to read the questions before you read the passage. When you know what you're looking for, you can read with a purpose. You don't need to understand every single word. Focus on finding the specific information each question is asking about. Also, watch out for paraphrasing. The questions and answer choices will often use different words from the passage, but the meaning will be the same. Let's move on to the listening section. This section tests your ability to understand spoken English in academic and campus life situations. The speakers in the listening section have accents from 4 regions: North America, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. There are 4 task types: listen and choose a response, listen to a conversation, listen to an announcement, and listen to an academic talk. The first listening task is listen and choose a response. In this task, you hear a short spoken question or statement. You don't see the words on screen. You only hear them. You then read 4 possible responses and choose the one that best fits the situation. This task tests whether you can understand the meaning of what someone says and recognize an appropriate reply. The key tip here is to listen for the purpose of what the speaker is saying, not just the words. Is the speaker asking for information, making a complaint, offering to help? Identifying the purpose helps you choose the most appropriate response. Also, be careful about answer choices that use familiar words from the question. They may sound right, but have the wrong meaning in context. The second listening task is listen to a conversation. Here you hear a short dialogue between 2 speakers on everyday topics such as dining, health, or campus life. After the conversation, you answer 2 questions about it. The questions ask about the main idea, key details, the purpose of what someone said, and what the speakers might do next. The tip for this task is to focus on the relationship between the 2 speakers and what each one is trying to achieve. Many candidates focus too much on specific words and miss what matters most. Ask yourself, what is the situation and what does each speaker want? Next is listen to an announcement. You hear a short announcement in an academic setting, such as a classroom or a school event. The announcement might cover a schedule change, a rule, or a student achievement. You then answer questions about the main idea, important details, and the purpose of the message. Listen carefully to the opening sentence of the announcement. This usually tells you the main point, so you can then follow along for the specific details. Announcements are short. There's not much time if you lose focus for a moment, so make sure to stay focused throughout. The final listening task is listen to an academic talk. You hear a short talk on an academic topic, such as a lecture or a podcast segment. The topics can come from areas like psychology, environmental science, or history. After listening, you answer several questions about the content. This is the most challenging of the 4 listening tasks. The language is more formal, the ideas are more complex, and the questions require you to follow the speaker's argument and understand how ideas connect. The tip here is to listen for the structure of the talk. Most academic talks follow a clear pattern. The speaker introduces a topic, provides examples or data, and then draws a conclusion. When you understand the structure, you can follow the content more easily. Also, take brief notes while listening. Writing down key words and ideas helps you stay focused and remember important details when you reach the questions. Now, here is an important point. Many TOEFL candidates think that knowing the test format is enough to achieve a strong result, but it is not enough. To do well on the TOEFL, you need to understand what the examiners are looking for in each section. For example, you need to use advanced grammar correctly and understand what makes a high-scoring answer. That's exactly what we teach in our TOEFL packages. Our students get step-by-step guidance on how to approach every section of the test effectively, so they feel confident and ready on test day. They learn how the TOEFL examiners assess their performance and what they need to do to meet the scoring criteria. Our TOEFL packages include lessons for all tasks, sample answers, templates, practice tests, and much more. If you're serious about achieving the TOEFL score you need, click the link below to learn more. Now, let's talk about the writing section. This section tests your ability to write in English for practical and academic purposes. It includes 3 task types: build a sentence, the email task, and the academic discussion task. The first writing task is build a sentence. You see 2 sentences that form a short exchange between 2 speakers. The first sentence is complete. The second sentence has all the words and phrases present, but they are in the wrong order. Your job is to drag and drop the words into the correct order to form a grammatical and appropriate sentence. This task tests your command of sentence structure. The tip here is to read the first sentence carefully before you start arranging the second one. The first sentence gives you the context you need to understand what the second sentence should mean. Then think about the grammatical structure. Consider, where does the subject go, where does the verb go, and how do the clauses connect. Take a moment to check that your sentence reads naturally before you move on. The second writing task is the email task. In this task, you are given a scenario that describes a situation in an academic or social setting. You need to write an email that responds to the scenario and achieves a specific communicative purpose. Your purpose might be making a request, reporting a problem, or expressing your gratitude. You have 7 minutes to complete this task. The examiners score your email on elaboration, which means how well you develop and support the purpose of your message. They also assess syntactic variety, which means the range of sentence structures you use. Another key scoring area is social conventions, which refers to how well your email follows the expected rules of politeness, register, and communication for the given situation. The biggest tip for the email task is to use templates. When you have a ready-made structure for your email, it allows you to focus your attention on content rather than organization. Know how to open an email appropriately, how to introduce your main point, and how to close. Our TOEFL packages include templates for TOEFL writing and speaking to guide you, so make sure to check them out. Also, match the register to the situation. A message to a professor should sound more formal than a message to a close friend. The third writing task is the academic discussion task. In this task, you see a question posted by a professor and responses from 2 other candidates. Your job is to contribute your own response to the online discussion. You need to state your opinion, support it with reasons and examples, and add something new to the discussion. You have 10 minutes to write your response, and it should be at least 100 words. The examiners look for relevance and elaboration, a variety of grammar structures, accurate vocabulary, and correct use of English conventions such as spelling and punctuation. The top tip for this task is to make your opinion clear from the start. Don't spend your whole response summarizing what the other candidate said. State your position directly in your first or second sentence. Then spend the rest of your response explaining and supporting it. Use specific examples or personal experience to back up your argument. Also, make sure to use a range of grammar structures, including complex sentences with subordinate clauses. By the way, if you want this channel to keep going, write yes in the comments, click like and subscribe. We only make videos that you actually want to watch. Now, let's look at the final section, speaking. This section tests your ability to communicate in English in academic and everyday contexts. There are 2 task types in the speaking section, listen and repeat, and the interview task. The first speaking task is listen and repeat. In this task, you hear 7 sentences within a short scenario set in an academic or campus life context. A visual illustration accompanies the scenario. After each sentence, there is a brief pause. You then repeat the sentence exactly as it was spoken. The sentences get progressively longer and more complex as the task continues. The examiners look for two things: accuracy and intelligibility. Accuracy means repeating the sentence as it was spoken, with the correct words in the correct order. Intelligibility means that your speech is clear and easy to understand. The most important tip for this task is to listen carefully to the entire sentence before you start speaking. Wait for the pause and then repeat the full sentence clearly. Pay attention to word stress and intonation as you listen, and try to reproduce them when you speak. The sentences get longer as the task goes on, so if you miss a word in a longer sentence, keep going. Focusing on the rest of the sentence can still help you get a higher score than stopping in the middle. The second speaking task is the interview task. In this task, you participate in a simulated interview with a pre-recorded interviewer. The interview takes place in a realistic situation, such as a research study or a scholarship application. The interviewer asks you 4 questions. The first questions ask about factual information and personal experience. The later questions ask you to express and support your opinion on broader issues. You have 45 seconds to answer each question. No preparation time is given. The examiners assess your responses on 4 main criteria. The first is elaboration, meaning your answer should be on topic and well developed with reasons and examples. The second is speaking pace. You should aim for a natural, conversational speed with appropriate pauses. The third is intelligibility, which means your pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation should make it easy for the listener to understand you. The fourth is grammar and vocabulary, where you use a range of accurate structures and words to express your ideas clearly. The key tip for the interview task is to answer the question directly and then develop your response. Don't give a one-sentence answer. Add a reason, give a personal example, or explain the implications of your point. High-scoring answers show that you can communicate ideas clearly over an extended response. Speak at a natural pace. If you're unsure how to phrase something, choose a simpler language that you can say confidently. This is better than attempting complex language that comes out unclear. That's it. These are the tasks of the TOEFL iBT. If you want expert guidance for your TOEFL preparation, check out our TOEFL packages using the link below. Our packages include step-by-step guidance, sample answers, templates, practice tests, and other useful resources to help you feel confident on test day. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their TOEFL score too. See you in the next video!